Good evening to all our viewers, participants, and individuals who want to be progressively disrupted in their lives. Palak Ways, welcome. Pinky, Ritesh, Joseph, great to have you guys on. Rishita, Pooja, Ria, amazing. Great to see all of you. So just, if you can give us a couple of moments, we're just going to invite Think Gita onto the show. And then we're going to get going this conversation. Welcome, Kushal, Sakshi, Emily, wonderful. Thank you, Emily, for all your shout outs and appreciation. Really, really appreciate it. Shweta, is that Shweta from Delhi, I think? Wow, amazing. We have joiners from India. It's ridiculously late in India, but we have some enthusiastic people. And we're just about to get our good friend Raj, who's going to come on and join us. Here he is. He's just appeared.
Oh,
Raj.
welcome.
Looking good.
Thank you.
Got a bit more stubble than last week. Last week you're cleanly shaved, and this week you look a few years older.
Yeah.
But good spiritual spirits, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. I'm spiritually enlightened from last week's session, and last week actually what an amazing week it was. So yeah, this is
last week was an amazing week for Think Gita. We had our first session on Thursday, and then we actually had a retreat of our previous Think Gita group on Friday. How did that go?
It was amazing, actually. It was so good. This was a group that had done the Gita before, just finished. We started in October and finished end of December. And the conversations we were having, it was the connection that we had. It was such on a deep level. I don't know if anyone's on the call from that session, but we really, I guess, got personal. And the Gita was about being personal. And we now have got a small group. We do little podcasts, sharing one thing each over the days, and it's really nice. So I'm looking forward to everyone else learning the Gita and connecting. I see Emily's on the call, and she says the retreat was wonderful. Thank you for joining, Emily.
Amazing, amazing. It's such a great thing because when we get together and we form relationships on the basis of wisdom, then it's just amazing, because when those relationships carry on, because you came together through discussion on wisdom, that becomes like the foundation of your relationship. So it's like the relationships that you build here, they'll always be deep relationships because we're all coming together on the basis of wisdom.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I've seen it so much, like the group that we had, and actually we had 780 people on last week's call, which was amazing. And to think that many people connecting with wisdom, I think there's something definitely going on. And I just want to share, did anybody, I guess want to ask, who was on the call last week? Maybe if you can chat right on the chat, were you there? Were you part of the 780 people on the Zoom? And whilst people are doing that, it was so amazing what you shared. We talked about progressive disruptors. And it was really cool because we were just hearing about how people came into this world and changed the perception, disrupt the world. And actually one interesting thing was I was speaking to my sister and my nieces, and my nieces were laughing because her answer to who was a progressive disruptor was Nokia. And they were laughing because Nokia is like back in the day. They were used to Apples, and so Apple came forward. Then it was Nokia. So it's interesting how times change, and it's become a generation of disruptors. So really, really interesting. And
it's interesting that in today's world, more and more disruptors are coming about, but they're, as we were talking about, disruptors who disrupt the how and the what of what we do. But we here at Think Gita are, we want to, build a new generation of spiritual disruptors, and all of you are part of that. And like we genuinely see that anyone who picks up wisdom and really breathes it in their life and lives it, they can go out and just have a beautiful impact on the world, and it's so exciting. So yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I really liked some of the different things that you shared on the session. We talked about not only about being a spiritual disruptor, but about thinking differently, and how, as a society, you know, we're kind of making this progression where we're seeing so many different things. It's not just about the what, but the how. And yeah, like one of the aspects was you set us a homework about a truth that you thought was a truth, but is actually based on a lie. And
Yeah.
we've got something called Mighty Networks, and we've had like over 100 responses and so many different examples of, you know, what we thought was based on a truth, but actually it becomes a culture, but it's
Santa
actually based on a
Claus.
lie. Hmm?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, yeah. Is it? Well, I think is it. I'm not sure if that's a lie or not. I still get a present under the tree, you know, on the 25th.
Okay.
So
Still, the detectives are out on that one.
yeah.
No, it was amazing. It was amazing. And it really shows when we sit down to think about it, how many lies we have accepted in our life. And as soon as you begin uncovering one or two or three, it's amazing. You start seeing 10, 20, 30, and it begins to shift your entire way of thinking. So yeah, we tried to share that. Nikki Verdi is saying she really loved the triangle with the 5 topics. And I have to submit on that, Nikki, that I actually stole that from my friend in New York, Doyal Goranga, who's also a great sharer of wisdom. You can check out his Insta page. He's a great friend. And he showed me that diagram, and I was like, wow, that's genius. I'll definitely spiritually plagiarize that one. So yeah, we're not coming here saying we're just sharing amazing things we've learned. We're not geniuses ourselves, but we do believe we're connected to a genius wisdom, and connected to the powerhouse. We can give you some of that you know, powerful wisdom as well. So yeah, so today I guess we're going to do some question and answers. So much was discussed the other day, and we didn't have time to have so much interaction. So all of you know the score with Insta, that there's a question tab down there, and probably many of you have questions related to progressive disruption. So please do start putting those questions in, and we will definitely get to them. But I think, Raj, we had some questions already coming in.
Yeah, we had this poll going on Mighty Network. So those of you who haven't joined Mighty Network yet, please sign on. And yeah, it's amazing. It's like a Facebook, but for Bhagavad-gita. So yeah, we've got some great questions in. And I guess the first one we're going to start with is from Dia. Now, she's asked a very interesting question. So she's asked about disruption. She's asked to make us more aware. You know, we have this feeling of disruption, and you said these disruptions happen. However, with it comes the balance of feeling uncertainty in them times. So how do we balance that?
Yeah. You know, one thing that was from Dia, is it? Yeah, it's a great question, Dia. Thanks for asking that question. The first thing is, I would say that when you surround yourself with other spiritual disruptors, surround yourself with other people who are brave, courageous, surround yourself with people who are thinking and also challenging. And then when you're together, it almost goes from being nervous to being like exciting. You're like, wow, we're all on a journey. We're on an adventure to uncover more. And so that's one thing I would say. And that's why this community is so powerful, because if each of us separately try and go out and experience disruption and even create disruption, we might get, you know, a little uncomfortable in the process. But when we do it together, that's the power of it. So that's the first thing I would say, Dia, that surround yourself with good spiritual disruptor friends, and you know, together it becomes more exciting than being nervous. Another thing I would say, Dia, is that we have to change our mentality. You know, to this day, when I go on stage to speak and address an audience, even when I come onto an Insta, there's a certain adrenaline that pumps through your body because you're like, now I'm going to be in front of 150, 200, or if it was last week, 780 people. But shall I tell you what, when you go onto stage and that energy is running through you, if you're constantly meditating on what may go wrong, then when you stand up on stage, all of that energy will come out as nervousness, as discomfort. But as you walk onto the stage, if you're meditating on what will go right, how you can make a positive contribution, what beautiful things can come out of this this next hour, then all of that energy turns into excitement, adventure, and great intrigue. And so what I would say, the second thing I would say is just try to change your inner narrative and stop focusing on what could go wrong and start getting excited about what could go right. And the third and final thing I'd say, Dia, is that one lesson that I've tried to learn in my life is to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. Because when I looked back at my life, I saw that the things, the situations, and sometimes even the people that made me the most uncomfortable, from those interactions, from those situations, from those emotions came the greatest growth. And therefore, I often tell people, if you're convenience and comfort focused, you'll be experience starved. So it's an art to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. Some thoughts?
Thank you. Yeah, I really love that saying, being comfortable with uncomfortable, because you only make progress when you move out your comfort zone. You know, it's like that's the only time you can be progressive. You can only become a disruptor, and you have to get used to having that natural comfort level of being in that uncomfortable zone constantly, you know, and that's our biggest growth. So probably, I guess, if everyone of us looks back in our life, it's always been that time when we've been uncomfortable, when we've been out of our comfort zone, and we look back and we're like, wow, like that was my biggest growth. And so yeah, I really love that saying. And
Columbus, he says, unless you're willing to sail away from the shore, you can never discover what's on the horizon. So it's like ships are not meant to be in the dock. Planes are not meant to be on the ground. In fact, and here's another thing, did you know that planes are more dangerous on the ground than in the air? Because on the ground, there can be rust, there can be decay, there can be, you know, malfunction of different things. But when the plane is flying and things are actually working, that's when it's actually the safest, ironically. So planes are meant to be flown, and life is meant for taking risks. And sometimes the greatest risk is not taking a risk and constantly just grounding your plane, waiting for, you know, the ideal time, you know, that never comes because of inhibition. So yeah, fly your own plane.
amazing. I think a lot of people will be inspired by that. I am definitely. So yeah, everyone, please comment if you like that comment about flying your own plane and moving out your comfort zone. So okay, so we've talked about disruption, and maybe we can go on to the next question. So we're seeing in society today, there's a lot of change happening, and we've had a question in from Misha. So those of you who know, this month is veganuary. It's January, but also veganuary. So we're seeing a massive revolution, or like a disruption in the way we eat.
Yeah.
And Misha's quite curious about the concept of milk, because you know like how milk is produced at the minute is very negative. It's harmful. It's you know, they sometimes call it blood milk, as people that have seen the documentaries. So her question is, what does the Gita say? How should we be compassionate towards animals? but also like the milk that we're taking, because these days, like I mentioned, it's kind of like that milk is kind of extracted in a way where we're exploiting
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cows. So
yeah, yeah.
what should we do?
Wonderful. Who was that question from?
That's from Misha.
Misha, excellent question. And I think, Misha, you're totally right. I think the vegan movement and the individuals coming forward to raise these points are also disruptors, and they're getting us thinking. And I think it's a really, really important thing, because while there is cruelty going on to animals, and cruelty especially to the cow, who's a symbol of motherhood, we can't really progress spiritually with that kind of insensitivity. So, Misha, yeah, you're absolutely right. The way that milk is produced in today's world is so cruel. You know, animals, cows are just so badly treated. And then when they stop giving milk, they're just slaughtered for meat. And when we go into a supermarket and we buy a pint of milk, we should be aware that, you know, this cruelty is behind it. So how do we respond to that? And what I would say, Misha, is that different spiritualists respond to it in different ways. One thing that some of the Hare Krishna devotees have tried to do is create ahimsa farms, and we now have ahimsa milk. So we've created farms where cows are beautifully treated and cared for till the end of their lives. And that milk, we call it ahimsa milk. Ahimsa is a Sanskrit word which means non-violent. And so that's a very pure, very non-violent type of way of producing milk. And so many of our spiritualists have decided that they will only have ahimsa milk. Others who may not have access to ahimsa milk but still see that milk, a miracle food, is an important part of our diet, what they do is whenever they buy a pint of milk from the supermarket, to acknowledge that there's been exploitation and yeah, unspeakable practices which have gone into producing this milk. What they do is, for every pint of milk they buy, they set aside 20 or 30 pence to go towards cow protection, or to go towards the development of ahimsa farms. And then what happens is that although they're drinking that milk, they're also providing a positive solution so that in the future there can be some permanent alternative options. And that's another way that some spiritualists approach it. So I think, Misha, you're absolutely right. We can't be ignorant about the cruelty that's going on in the milk and the dairy industry. And different spiritualists are approaching it in different ways to make it to make a better situation. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, I personally became a hamster vegan for about 3-4 years ago, just after seeing so many documentaries on cows and the way they're treated. And what's amazing is, if you go to this ahimsa farm, or even if you go to the Bhaktivedanta Manor, they keep cows there. When you interact with the cows, it's like you can tell they're nurtured, they're cared for. You know, actually, and what I was told when I visited is they only take the milk that's excess from the cow. So the calf drinks milk, and then whatever's left is actually taken. And also, another thing one of the farmers was telling me is, when the cow's not milked, she actually suffers a lot. You know, she ends up feeling really heavy, feeling really discomfortable. So yeah, they take just what's required, and it's interesting actually, because even the milk tastes different, because it's got, I don't know, some kind of magic in it, because there's love, it's been taken care of, the cow's happy. So yeah, maybe I recommend anyone, maybe we can do a trip to the Himsa farm.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. And you know, Raj, just to be very honest here, like, I have to say, this was a message which came as a disruption to me, because as a spiritualist, as one following the Bhagavad-gita, animal care is something which should be a high, you know, one of the highest principles. But I have to admit that even in my life, I became a little unconscious to that. And when disruptors came in and said, but hang on, have you ever thought about veganism? I appreciated that disruption because it made me really deeply think about how I'm living as a spiritualist and whether I'm actually walking the talk and living my principles. And so when we're sitting here talking about progressive disruption, it's like we also appreciate that disruption because it helps us to live with our values in the forefront.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I've got some great comments coming in. We've got Yachna who said it's the first time she's heard of ahimsa milk. And so she's kind of really excited, and also she's up for a trip there. And also we've got M-Man saying that trip would be amazing as well. So yeah, a lot of people are really keen on the idea of ahimsa milk. Okay, so I guess maybe we can go on to another question.
Yeah.
Unless, yeah, I think, okay, we'll go on to the next one. So this one centers around the Bhagavad-gita. So you can see, I guess you can make a comparison to, you know, disruptors, because you can see over the ages, different disruptors have come about, and maybe different religions have come about as well, who have caused spiritual progressive disruption. You know, there's been a time and there's a change, and then a new religion or new spiritual philosophy comes out. And we've got a question from Nikita from the Mighty Network. So she's asked, she was wondering, like, the different holy scriptures that there are they all essentially, like, do they have the same principles and same values as the Bhagavad-gita? Because we know that the Bhagavad-gita is probably one of the oldest spiritual books in the world. What about the other religions?
Amazing question, Nikita. Yeah. I actually, I did a study of different religions. I can't claim to be a scholar of religion, but I did look into the different religions, and definitely it did strike me that there is a great unity and diversity, that when you see the principles that all spiritual teachers came to disrupt the world with, they were very, very similar. And although often religions vary in ritual, in culture, and also sometimes in theological subtleties, we do find that the large core principles that each one of them are founded upon are definitely universal. And therefore, what the Bhagavad-gita talks about when it comes to religion is that ultimately every religion, if practiced with sincerity, with purity, with a genuine desire to develop love and divine connection, each religion can be effective. And therefore, we're not here to claim a monopoly, that the Bhagavad Gita is the monopoly on spiritual wisdom. I think that would be unreasonable and illogical, because in my life, I've met Christians, Muslims, who are my good friends and whom I learned so much from about spirituality. So yeah, it's a real... I think it's about learning from other traditions. Recently, I mean, just to say here very publicly, recently I've been reading into a lot of Christian monastics. For some of you on the call, you may have heard of people like Thomas Merton and others. And I just find their insights and their reflections extremely nourishing and uplifting. And what to speak of religions, I even read self-development books. Like, yeah, I've read bits of the 7 Habits. I've read parts of The Secret. I've read parts of The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And I can see that there's a great wealth of knowledge out there that we can benefit from. Yeah, I always come back to the Bhagavad Gita somehow and find everything contained there as well. And so, yeah, that's why we're sharing the Gita, because it is so expansive and so comprehensive in what it covers, and timeless.
Amazing. And that's really refreshing to hear that, you know, someone like you who's a spiritual monk for such a long time, and you're quite like still learning and still exploring different avenues and different texts. and you said you studied as well, and I think you were doing something with Oxford University, and you know, kind of going that extra step in studying the different things out there. And that's inspiring for us because, you know, like, where do we learn from? Where do we draw from? You know, is it only the Bhagavad-gita? But actually, there's so many things that we can take inspiration from.
Yeah, one of my mentors, he used to say there should be three things going on in your life always. And he said, loving, launching, and learning. I often stop and think about these three things. He said, there should never be a time in your life when you're not doing something you love. Of course, there are times when you always have to do dutiful stuff, but there must be some ongoing activity that you love that's always part of your life. The second thing is, he said, launching. He said, you should always be trying new things. You should always be taking a journey into the unknown. You should never just stay always in the comfort. There should be something that you're launching, trying out, experimenting with. And he said, learning. There should always be something you're learning. One person, he says, a room without books and a life without learning is like a body without a soul. So we have to just continuously learn. And I just feel like, yeah, there's so much more to discover out there. It's amazing.
Amazing. I hope people are writing this down. These sutras are so good. So yeah, please write them down, share them on the comments if you like what you're hearing. I guess this brings us on nicely to the next question. This is from Noor, and she's asked about the Bhagavad-gita, and I guess this fits into learning. Bhagavad-gita is, I guess, for some people quite a big book, and she's asked, so how do you go about learning it? And specifically, she's asked, is it something you have to read throughout, or can you just like dive in and read a chapter? Or
amazing. Who's that question from?
From Noor.
No, yeah, we didn't fix her in to create an advert break here. But if you want to learn the Bhagavad Gita, no, then it's like, that's why we're creating this community. Because, you know, like sometimes people think of a book or like the Bhagavad Gita as a book. And it is a book. It's a book of theology. But in ancient tradition, theology is always living. This is a living theology. It's understood in community. It's understood with others. It's understood through discussion, question, challenging. And if you want to learn the Bhagavad Gita, I mean, just join Think Gita. We're not saying that's the end of your journey, but that will at least be the beginning of your journey. And then you may come to Think Gita and think, that guy Keshava Swami, he's all right, you know, his jokes are a bit corny, but I think there might be more. And you may want to go other places to explore more. But we definitely think we can get you on a journey to get you at least thinking. Not saying you're going to agree with everything we have to say, but we'll get you thinking. And I think that's the art of it. I was reading the Bhagavad Gita for like 2 years on and off. And I came to one Q&A session at the monastery where I now live. And I tell you, in one Q&A session, I learned more than I've learned from 2 years of reading by myself. And I went home that day and I was so humbled and at the same time so inspired. I was like humbled because I was like, that's 2 years of my life down the drain. But I was so inspired because I was like, I clocked 2 years in one session. If I get into this and learn more with these people, I'm going to be like light years ahead, super quick. And it works like that.
That's amazing. Yeah, this is the platform to be, I guess. And these Q&As, I guess, just kind of churning so much nectar. And yeah, I guess the best feedback we get is actually from the Q&A. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And someone's asking, are there any BG study sessions in London?
Yeah, you can get in touch with us. I think we are creating smaller groups. We just created one recently. We had a meetup in central London, and we have like a small group of us who are about 20 of us who are studying the Gita and learning. And I think maybe after this course, we're going to look at having smaller groups as well. So yeah, please get in touch. And
Yeah, it's like last Thursday I was mentioning that there were like nearly 800 people on the call, and it's like it's a little difficult for me because I always, as we've learned the Bhagavad-gita together, Raj, and we like to keep it interactive. But you just have to bear with us a bit on the Thursdays because if we unmute everyone and let you go loose on the chat, it might just flood the system, and all our computers might like go into overdrive from all the comments. But we are definitely very soon going to just create smaller forums where we can just get down to some real discussion. So that's exciting for sure.
one of the feedbacks that we had was people wanted to have a retreat, maybe like a weekend away, or so. Yeah, I don't know what that sounds like to people. Like being with Keshav Swami, learning the Gita in a group. Does that sounds exciting? Maybe you can share a heart, or you can see a lot of 100% coming up. But yeah, maybe getting together in person is.
Chintal's on the call. She said she got married at the manor in 2006 and got a Gita. And she's like, what's that? 17 years later, she's picking up and having those discussions again, and she finds it powerful. And I think Chintal was the one who said that she's taken the gratitude prayer that we did at the beginning, and it's really energized her. And yeah, gratitude is the mother of all qualities. So yeah, thanks Chintal for taking it up. And our good friend Jason is on the call as well, shouting out, saying Soho Temple. Yeah, we have a center in London, and you'll probably find Raj there. He does his food for life, free food distribution from London. So yeah, definitely pop in there and give a shout out to Raj as well.
Yeah, please join us. We'd be grateful to have some volunteers, and yeah, it's a very exciting service, making the Gita practical. So yeah. So
Wise Woman Revolution, she's saying, can you create breakout rooms? That's such a good idea, because we were just talking about that the other day, that we were thinking what we might start doing in some of our sessions is just creating like 20 breakout rooms and just getting individuals to just have more opportunity. So yeah, thank you so much. We're really gonna, we're gonna max out this technology.
Yeah, it's exciting times ahead. Do we have any more questions from the chat?
Loads of questions there. Yeah, loads of questions. Shall I put some of them up on screen?
Yeah, we can take maybe a couple, I think.
Yeah, there's well, look, Raj, I'm doing all the hard work here. Why don't you answer one of these questions? How can we better cultivate resilience? That's such a big thing in the world today, like we're bombarded, life is busy, we're, so many obstacles and issues arise, so many expectations from people, and burnout is like one of the biggest problems in the world today. And I mean, how do you do it, Raj? How do you be so resilient? You're working, you have a family, and then you do all this service, and then you're on Think Gita all the time. How do you maintain your resilience?
Yeah, it's an important question, and I think this is an interesting topic actually, because I work for the NHS, and this is probably like one of the biggest things at my work right now. And I'm actually one of the well-being leads for our area, and we're focusing on this topic of resilience. How can we be resilient when there's such a difficult time? Because like there's so much pressures going on right now. Let's say, for example, NHS staff are under so much strain, so much burnout. We're just seeing it across all sectors. There's so much strikes going on, and we're kind of getting to that space where actually it's getting too much. People are being burnt out. It's a common thing. And I guess one of the things that one of the, I guess, sutras, I could say, is acronyms. We love acronyms with Think Gita, and maybe I'll share an acronym with everyone. And this is my acronym and sutra for resilience and avoiding burnout. The first one, and the acronym is RISE. So you have to rise through the burnout, rise through and be resilient. So the R in RISE stands for relationships. So having good relationships, having people around you where you can connect with, because essentially the Bhagavad-gita talks about having personal relationships. Keshav Swami mentioned about if you're learning the Gita, it's better to do it with people. And you can see naturally we're creatures of love. So we like to connect with people. We like people around us. So we have a good relationships that can make a big difference. So I always suggest, if you're working with people, check in on them. How are they doing? Are they okay? That'll make you feel better as well. Make sure your relationship's good with your family, your colleagues, your friends. The I in RISE stands for inner purpose, going inwards. We talk about meditation. We talk about taking time out. We talk about today we're going to do a little guided meditation as well. But when you have that time to yourself, and a lot of the times monks and spiritualists, they do it in the morning. So when we do that, when we take that time to introspect, we can really make a difference. I like one analogy, I actually got this from you, is when we do meditation, it's like an archer taking his bow back. And when he takes his bow back, it seems counterproductive. So when we take that time out to breathe, the bow is going, the arrow is going backwards, but actually when it's let go, it goes back with more force, more resilience, more power. So we have to take that time out. And then the S, and we learn this from the Gita as well, is self-discovery. So when you find your purpose, when you find your dharma, when you find your who you are, and I guess we see that in work as well. Like people, coaching has become a big thing. Discovering yourself is becoming a big thing. We have this Myers-Briggs personality test. So take that time to discover yourself. And the E and the sutra is enlivening acts. So, and this for me is something very close, is giving back to the community. So, taking time out to do some service, voluntary. Like I do Food for Life, and for me that's a really important service. But it could be something as like giving something to your neighbor, or doing something nice for a colleague, or something nice for your family, or something to the homeless, or volunteering. I think Gita maybe, whatever it is, when we give, we actually receive, because we actually feel better about ourselves. So it's another thing we're encouraging as well, is getting involved with the community, giving back. So resilience, I guess, is that sutra, Rise. So maybe if you remember that.
That's one for the fridge, You should make a fridge magnet out of that, or a bumper sticker on the car, just like Raj. That was amazing. And I really liked your last one, because that I wasn't expecting that one. But the other ones was like things I've talked about. But your last one, enlivening acts, it's almost like in English they have a saying, offense is the best form of defense, So it's like when you're going out there, when you're giving, when you're thinking of others, when you get off the kind of platform of just being like thinking about yourself, and then immediately there's an immunity, there's a strength, there's a resilience that you're invested with, and it's such a beautiful thing. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Raj. That was and today you're also going to do a meditation for us. So I'm just thinking we're getting to about 8:40. Well, actually I'm in Belgium at the moment, and I'm just visiting our community here. We have a beautiful castle in Belgium. If you've never been, come. In 2 weeks here, actually, they're going to have an event of mantra chanting for 3 days, which will take you to like another dimension. But it might be a little late to come now because there's 1,500 people already coming. But this is a place you have to visit. So yeah, where I am, it's actually 9:40. So it's getting past my bedtime, but I'm really excited because you're going to share with us some meditation today. And we wanted, like, if all of you are on the call, I know you've got loads of questions and we haven't managed to answer them all, but we are noting all of these questions down. And I'll just ask one of our admins on the call, who kind of help us run this whole thing. If you can just copy down all the questions, because we do want to get back to these questions, and we don't want to waste the time that you've gone, the thought that's gone into those questions. So we will address them. But now we want to kind of shift a little bit from the spiritually, the spiritual intellect to, I guess, the spirit soul. And we want to do something a little different. We're going to do a meditation today. So wherever you guys are, if you can just try and get to a quiet place. Now, I don't know where you are. You might be driving. If you can just pull over for 5 minutes, it might be a good idea. Because if you go into meditation while you're on the motorway, it might not be the best. So get to a quiet place. Try and shut the doors. Sit in with your back upright, and Raj is going to take us through a little meditation exercise just for 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, Raj, over to you.
Yeah, really, really excited to share this with you guys. And meditation is something I practice every day, and it's something that's becoming really mainstream now. So, and Maharaj, Keshav Swami, you're somebody who meditates every day in the morning. So, like Keshav Swami had just mentioned, best to put your back straight and get in a nice posture. And what we can do is start with some breathing. So we just do some 5 breaths. This is called 5, 5, and 5. So you take 5 breaths. You take a breath in for 5 seconds. You hold, and then you let go. So we'll start. I'll count you guys in. So take a deep breath in. And hold. And let go. And again, take a deep breath in through the nose. And hold. And let go. And again, deep breath in through the nose. Hold. And let go. Okay, we'll do 2 more. Deep breath in for the nose. Hold. And let go. Okay, last one. Really go for it this time, taking as much air as you can. Deep breath in. And let go. Okay, we're now just going to relax our body. So when you bring your attention to the mind, bring your attention to the forefront of your mind, and begin to feel it relax. And now we're going to relax the eyelids. Feel your eyelids relax. Relax the nose. Relax the cheeks. Relax the jaw. Now begin to relax the neck. Any stiffness or tension in the neck, begin to feel it let go. And now we're going to relax the shoulders. So any weight on the shoulders, any pressure, anything you feel that's dependent only on you, feel it let go. Relax the shoulders completely. And now we're going to come to the chest, so feel the chest relax. And we're going to focus on the heart center. Now the heart center is a place of high electromagnetic energy, and it's also a place where the super soul resides. So we need to focus on a ball of energy within the heart center. It could be any color that you like, spinning clockwise, with the super soul positioned in the center of it. And just imagine that ball of energy spinning faster and faster. And that ball of energy is an energy of positivity. And just begin to feel the heart center. We're now going to relax. We're going to come back to the heart center. We're going to relax the rest of our body. So begin to feel your left hand relax and loosen up. Relax your arm, fingers. And now relax the right arm. Begin to feel the arm relax and loosen the fingers. And now relax the stomach. Feel your stomach relax. And now we're going to relax the legs. So relax your thighs. Feel both your thighs relax. Your knees. Your legs. And finally, I want you to feel your feet touching the ground. And what we're going to do now is remove any negative energy or any unwanted thoughts, any thoughts that don't serve you. So I want you to take any thoughts that don't serve you and remove them through the feet. The feet is a place where we can remove any unwanted energy. So begin to remove them through the feet. Now, I want you to bring your attention to the mind. And we're slowly going to start focusing on a place where you feel most relaxed, most comfortable. It could be any place that you like in the world, indoors or outdoors. And we're going to begin to imagine yourself in that place more and more. And take yourself to that place right now. What do you see around you? What can you hear? What can you touch? Really feel yourself going deeper into this meditation. Feel yourself being more and more connected. And now, I want you to imagine a door a few feet away from you. And on top of this door, there is a sign that says connection to the higher self, connection to your super soul. I want you to walk over to this door and open this door, which is golden, illuminating, and beyond this door lies a deep connection to your super soul, your Paramatma, your higher self. I want you to open this door, and as you open this door, you notice a set of stairs going downwards, and below these stairs lies that deep connection where you can really connect with the Supreme. So to go ahead and walk into that door. And we're going to take some steps down, and with each step really feel yourself connecting more and more on a deeper and spiritual level. 10, take a step. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You've reached a place where you can connect with your super soul, the Supreme. with the all attractive. I just want you to spend a moment connecting and re-establishing this relationship with the Supreme, with the higher self. What does he look like? What do they look like? What is the feeling? You need to ask your higher self, super soul, is there any message they have for you? Is there any message about the connection? And also, I want you to share gratitude. Begin to feel the gratitude of everything that's happened in your life to bring you to where you are today. Feel the gratitude to the Supreme, to the higher self. I really want you to feel the love for the soul. And with this gratitude and love, we're now going to really take this with us and feel it in our consciousness. Now going to implement it in our daily life going forward. So to take this gratitude, take this love, be grateful to the super soul that's always looked after you and loved you. So now we're going to take this energy and we're going to go back up the stairs that we came down. With each step, we're going to feel the positivity, the love through the rest of your body, rest of your consciousness. Really feel the brightness, the awakening, the love with each step. I'm going to count us up. I really want you to feel that positivity. 1, take a step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really feel the positivity radiating throughout the rest of your body. 7, 8. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly bring yourself back into the room. And that's meditation. And if you want, you can write how you're feeling on the chat and share. But
Thank you so much, Raj. That was beautiful, actually. Yeah. such a powerful thing just to be still and be in the moment. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's amazing because we normally do this on a Tuesday with our group, and such nice feedback. And I really recommend everybody try meditation. It's best to do it in the morning, but also at nighttime. So yeah, like, you know, even if you can do 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day, and yeah, share with us. You know, I guess maybe we can do a little challenge, you know, try it at home. And if you haven't done before, and tell us what you thought, how it was, and how it's made an impact in your life. And Keshav Swami, I know you meditate every day religiously. Yeah, do you want to just maybe share one thing about how it impacts you? And because I've been with you when you've meditated, and it's quite interesting. It's deep.
You know, sometimes people ask me the most mystical thing that's happened to me while meditating. But for me, it's the most simple thing that happens during meditation, which is, I think when we really meditate deeply and we connect, as you were talking about, it's in that moment that we feel completely present and unaffected by the past and kind of fettered by the future. And I think we're prisoners of our past, and we're also prisoners of our desires and conceptions of the future. And when you meditate, you actually break free from those prisons, and you're in the moment, and you realize life is, there's perfection in the moment. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and thank you for sharing it. And we really appreciate everyone coming on the call and being open-minded. Today we went a little bit over, but I think it was worth it. We're really looking forward to everyone joining on Thursday. If you have friends, please invite them along. If you missed the first session, don't worry at all. This session will be like the official beginning of the course, and people can catch up on last week. So just please go to community.thinkgita.org, sign up. Another thing we're requesting you, please, there's 150 of you on this call. Straight after we kind of end this live, if you can just go over to Think Gita, send some good vibes there on the Insta, follow it, share it with your friends. You know what we're about. We're just trying to share wisdom out there that's relevant to everyone. So if you appreciate it, then share the wisdom and share the word. And I think those are my final words for today. Really appreciate again all of you coming on. We come in front of you, as I always say, not as people who know it all, but we're searchers. We're all searchers together, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to share whatever we've learned with you. And yeah, Raj, over to you for the final words.
Yeah, thank you all so much, and my gratitude to Keshav Swami, my gratitude to all of you guys for being there and giving us encouragement to share this wisdom humbly, whatever way we can. And I request everyone to, I guess one thing you can, one action maybe you can help us with is share it with your friends, share it with your families. And you don't know how much difference it could make in other people's lives. So we've seen that already. So maybe we'll have 1,000 people this Thursday. I don't know. But yeah, it's just humbling to see how many people can be impacted. And yeah, thank you all so much. So I can see people from the course, and it's so nice to see the different names come up. So I'm looking forward to all of you joining and connecting with everyone going forward. So yeah, please follow Think Gita, and yeah, have a good week, and we look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Wonderful. All the best, everyone. We'll see you soon.